All right, good morning everyone and happy Friday. 48 First Alert Meteorologist Eric Burke. Thanks for joining us. We're 2 minutes early. I understand that. We just have a lot going on and a lot to talk about on this Friday. Friday now a 48 First Alert weather day, and I know yesterday was a First Alert weather day, and based on some of the social media comments, full disclosure, we did see severe weather yesterday just over a small portion of northeast Alabama. Some gusty winds there, some trees down, but a lot of you did not see the severe weather that we were anticipating yesterday, at least not in the form of the coverage, the intense rainfall, the hail, the wind threat that we were talking about. Models did not do a great job handling it, and our forecast was off. That happens from time to time. Today, much higher confidence in the threat of strong to severe storms, and you see that right there on your screen on the right-hand side of your phone, tablet, laptop, desktop, whatever you're watching us on. This is what we've got already here, so we are anticipating a day with strong to severe storms through the afternoon and evening. We're going to talk timeline impacts, everything you need to know, but this is what we've got. We've got a severe thunderstorm watch out now. It was just put out not too long ago by the Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma, but it does include all of northern Mississippi, a couple counties there in Arkansas, and a good portion of Tennessee, even into south central Kentucky. Our counties that are in the watch right now includes northwest Alabama, so we have Franklin, Colbert, Lauderdale, Lawrence, and Limestone, and then all of those middle Tennessee counties that border or are on the state line. They're in south central middle Tennessee, so you've got Giles County, you've got Lincoln County, you've got Moore, Franklin, Lawrence County, Wayne County, all of them there. And this is just the first watch of the day. There's already talks that this may be extended farther east to include the other counties. Perhaps you got your Morgan, Madison, etc., all the way into northeast Alabama. This is the preliminary watch, first watch of the day. Other counties may be in a watch, but maybe you got that notification on your 48 First Alert weather app. So that goes from now until 5 o'clock. And we've got the Storm Prediction Center Outlook. They put this out every day. Now, yesterday at this time, we were just in a marginal risk, but some of the model data came in, some of the ingredients and elements are falling into place. Well, the Storm Prediction Center has now placed us under a 3 out of 5. This is an enhanced risk, and you can see the size of that enhanced risk there in kind of that brown maroon color, orange tint, whatever you want to call it. But this does include the entire area of North Alabama and Middle Tennessee. So our entire viewing area is under this enhanced risk, that 3 out of 5. And this is mainly, at least the size of it, is based off of a concern of damaging straight line wind gusts, but we're also talking about the potential for large hail. And there is a tornado threat today, where yesterday we weren't really seeing that. The storm threat didn't materialize like we thought it would and what the models were hinting at. But today I think we have a much more organized and significant setup for potential strong to severe storms. So here are your hazards for the day, for the rest of the afternoon, probably starting as early as 1 p.m., and then continuing from west to east all the way through 10 p.m. I'm not saying if you live in Lauderdale County that you'll have severe weather from 1 to 10. That's a 9-hour window. That's not going to happen. These storms will be moving through the area, but concerns of some damaging straight line wind gusts, even if it's not a severe wind gust, this is where we could get that damage potentially to some trees, tree limbs, tree branches coming down, maybe even some power lines as well too. There is that tornado threat. Overall, the widespread shear that we need to get those storms rotating isn't as significant as it is during typical April, May setups here, but there is enough shear that we do have to at least include the mention of an isolated tornado or two, and that's for the entire watch. That's their wording. I was looking at some of the ingredients. Sometimes we show that EHI, the Energy Helicity Index, that number's over 1. Well, some of the models are showing that number over 1, and that's why we're including now the mention of at least an isolated tornado threat. The bigger threat will definitely be the straight line winds and the threat for large hail. Half-inch or larger, could see severe hail, that being 1 inch in diameter. And there are a ton of outdoor events going on. And we have the Strawberry Festival is going on. That's just one of a plethora of events, sporting events. We're keeping an eye on that. And if you do have outside plans, if you hear thunder, see lightning, be sure to go inside to a safe structure. Avoid those windows, as we are anticipating very electrical storms. So I'm going to go ahead and take this full screen for you just so you kind of get a better picture here on that storm timeline It's pretty similar to what we were saying was going to happen yesterday. Obviously, just had those isolated severe storms over parts of northeast Alabama yesterday into Jackson and DeKalb County, but 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. for that area in red, northwest Alabama. Then moving from west to east, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. for the area in yellow, including I-65, 565. You've got 231, 431, kind of those metro areas, that traffic triangle, as meteorologist Jeff Denoyer has called that between Decatur, Athens, and Huntsville. You've got 72 there, of course, and up into Lincoln County, parts of Giles County, Franklin, and more. And then finally entering northeast Alabama, 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. So this is what we've got over northeast Alabama. Again, this is your storm timeline for the straight line wind threat, as well as that potential for large hail, and there is that tornado threat on kind of the lower side of the spectrum too. And then here we go, a 70% chance of storms. It could probably bump that number up. Just about everyone will at least see some heavy rainfall and probably some thunder and lightning today. But today is a 48 first alert weather day. We'll go into more detail regarding your Saturday. I know Saturday, it's an important forecast in regards to the weekend. And then into Sunday, temperatures fall off a lot more. We're in the mid to upper 60s. Could see partly, maybe even mostly cloudy skies for a good portion of the day. And there is a chance of even seeing some pockets of drizzle or even light rain showers. So here's your next couple of hours. Temperatures warming up into the upper 70s to low 80s. You could feel the humidity dew point. We've got a lot of moisture to work with. That wind out of the south and southwest pulling in that Gulf moisture. But things are going to ramp up as we go through the afternoon into the evening. Here's another look at your weekend. I know it's just a graphical in nature, but it's the weekend. It's Friday. You want to know what's going on. And Saturday, yeah, dodging some periods of showers. Not so much anticipating strong to severe storms on Saturday, but definitely some heavy rainfall and some lightning, and that's enough to kind of make you bring things inside right there. Sunday, partly to mostly cloudy, maybe some periods of drizzle, light rainfall. So here's the current radar. It is right now 10:35 on your Friday, and we're tracking some light showers coming out of parts of Winston County into Coleman County. We've got some rainfall now tracking into parts of DeKalb County as well as southern Marshall County there. But it's really the activity off to our northwest that we're watching. And right over the Bolivar area there in Tennessee, that did have a severe thunderstorm warning. That was mainly for a hail threat there. And I've seen some pictures from the National Weather Service in Memphis. They had some decent sized hail there. Not sure if it was severe hail or not, but that's why they had a severe thunderstorm warning. The interesting feature with that too, and you can kind of see that green line that's moving over the state line into parts of northern Mississippi. That's going to be the outflow. Sometimes we get that gust front effect, and that's exactly what could be a trigger potentially for a few storms of our own over northwest Alabama ahead of that main line of storms coming in. And now we've got bigger severe thunderstorm warnings. This is right over the Mississippi River coming out of Arkansas now, and that's probably going to be the main feature as far as the trigger for our severe thunderstorms later today. But that gust front has the potential. And then you also look at Tupelo there, areas to the southwest. We're seeing some convection starting to pop up too. So a lot going on to our west, and that's what we'll continue to watch here as we go through the rest of the day. Now notice how the banner says 2 rounds of storms. This is factoring in today, the afternoon and evening, but also the round of storms that's coming in through the day on Saturday. And we're going to go through that here step by step. Future radar showing our temperatures warming into the upper 70s to low 80s. I think the model is actually downplaying our temperatures a little bit here, but look at the storm starting to really blow up over parts of far west Tennessee into parts of northwest, north central Mississippi. Here's 2:30 now, and now we finally got these storms starting to enter parts of northwest Alabama, showing up over portions of Lauderdale as well as Colbert and Franklin County, and they'll continue to track west to east. Kind of skipped over through one of my pause points there, sorry about that, but right over parts of north central Alabama, probably in that 5 to 6 p.m. time frame. Not great regarding your Friday evening commute. And then we'll kind of have some lingering periods of heavier rainfall behind it. Severe weather threat could be wrapping up as early as 7, but probably closer to 9, 10 o'clock for you in northeast Alabama. Then we see some periods of showers and some thunder and lightning overnight tonight, and that continues into the early morning hours of your Saturday. Looks like we'll see periods of rainfall, could be moderate to heavy at times, some thunder and lightning there, 7 a.m. now. We've got pretty decent coverage of the heavier rain and that isolated embedded storm threat. We will see some dry hours through mid to late morning. It looks like, if anything, things will be fairly isolated in nature. And then we have the main line of storms coming in. Now, this is a little bit delayed compared to what we saw when I was showing you the morning newscast if you joined us between 4:30 and 7. So this new model data actually is kind of slowing down that main line there as it moves from west to east. But we kind of get that big push of storms, might see some gusty winds, some small hail, but very rapid clearing behind that line of storms coming in. So you're expecting more dry hours during the late afternoon and evening than we are necessarily anticipating as we go through the morning hours of your Saturday. Excuse me. Just continuing here as we go through Sunday now, this is Sunday morning, temperatures will be pretty cool, low to mid 50s. You'll notice the air feels a bit drier. And then we get that wraparound, and this is associated with the cutoff center of low pressure. So that will usher in a little bit more cloud cover. This is why I'm kind of like partly to mostly cloudy, but there is enough leftover moisture to maybe see some periods of drizzle or even some light rain as we go through Sunday. Sunday, the biggest difference is temperatures are going to be a lot cooler. Now, I pointed out that the model was downplaying our temperatures. If you look at the current temperature map, we've got mid to upper 70s everywhere, even close to 80 degrees right now out in Muscle Shoals. The wind is not as breezy as it was yesterday. Had some wind gusts about 20 to 30 miles per hour, but we are anticipating some gusts, probably 15 to 20. Now, those aren't storm gusts. Those are just your general gradient wind gusts from the south. Hour by hour forecast. Notice how the percentage there, your chance of rain and storms, really starts to increase as we go into the afternoon and evening. Now, once you actually see the storms roll through, temperatures will fall because we have that rain-cooled air. Here's your forecast rainfall. This isn't just today. This is also factoring in Saturday morning and afternoon storms, probably looking at a safe play of half an inch to an inch. Some of you could see anywhere from 1 to 2 inches of rainfall. Because these storms will be moving, we're not really talking about a threat for flash flooding, but that's something we will continue to monitor as we go through the rest of the day today and obviously through Saturday. Messy center of low pressure up over the Great Lakes. We've got a couple other centers of low pressure. You just see kind of that rotation of the storms as we're looking at this big picture. And if you look closely at your screen there, you see that yellow box, and that is our severe thunderstorm watch that goes until 5 o'clock. That may be extended downstream. Severe weather threat will wrap up over northeast Alabama later this evening in the 8 to 10 o'clock time frame, but that doesn't rule out some thunder and lightning, storms embedded overnight, pockets of heavier rainfall continuing into Saturday morning. Here is your Saturday now. Showers and storms mainly during the morning, kind of off and on. It won't just be widespread blankets of heavy rain. We'll see some breaks. It will be more hit and miss. The later you go in the day after we get that surge of storms coming in, it does appear that things will start to dry out a bit, but our temperatures also start to fall here. Here's your 10-day forecast, first alert weather day today. I just ask, with everything going on outside, those outdoor events, sporting events, and it just being a Friday in general, that if you are going to be outside, make sure you're staying weather aware. 48 weather app, a great tool to have with you. Just make sure that you're keeping an eye on things. If hear thunder, you see lightning, go indoors to a safe structure and avoid those windows if you can. Periods of rain and storms through the morning part of the day on Saturday, and then one last push of storms through the earlier afternoon. For your Sunday, big temperature drop. Temperatures in the 60s and 70s, and most likely staying in the mid to upper 60s. Chance of not only cloud cover, maybe some periods of drizzle, and then things are also pretty unsettled as we go into the middle to latter part of next week. And that's going to be, just chances for scattered showers and storms, kind of like what we're dealing with today. But there it is. That's all laid out for you. I will be on Tennessee Valley Living at 11 o'clock with Peyton Walker with the latest, and of course our newscast at noon. And then join us during NBC programming during the 1 o'clock hour. I will have the latest on that for you. But that's the latest on your 48 first alert weather day. Severe thunderstorm watch for all middle Tennessee counties and a good portion of northwest Alabama, Lauderdale, Colbert, Franklin, Lawrence, Limestone County. That watch may be extended, but the current watch right now goes through 5 o'clock. Threats of damaging wind gusts. There is a low tornado threat and a threat for large hail. So thank you for your time. Have a great Friday. Stay weather aware. Hope you enjoy your weekend. It is Kentucky Derby weekend. You can watch that right here on WAFF 48. But thanks for joining us for Weather Extra. Hope you have a great Friday and a great weekend.